Greetings, my lords. Remember what you promised me? If even song and matins will agree, let's see who shall be the first to tell a tale. And as I hope to drink good wine and ale, I'll be a judge. The rebel who disobeys, however much the journey costs, he pays. Now draw for cut, and then we can depart. The man who draws the shortest cut shall start. My lord the knight, he said, step up to me and draw your cut, for that is my decree. And come you near, my lady prioress, and you, sir cleric, drop your shamefastness. No studying now, a hand from every man. Immediately the draw for lots began, and to tell shortly how the matter went, whether by chance or fate or accident. The truth is this: the cut fell to the knight, which everybody greeted with delight, and tell his tale he must, as reason was, because of our agreement and because he too had sworn. What more is there to say? For when this good man saw how matters lay, being by wisdom and obedience driven to keep a promise he had freely given, he said, since it's for me to start the game, why, welcome be the cut in God's good name. Now let's ride, listen to what I say. And at the word, we started on our way. When we had heard the tale the knight had told, not one among the pilgrims, young or old, but said it was indeed a noble story, worthy to be remembered for its glory, and it especially pleased the gentlefolk. Our host began to laugh and swore and joke. It's going well, we've opened up the veil. Now let me see, who will tell another tale? Upon my soul, the game has begun well. Come on, Sir Monk, if you've a tale to tell, repay the knight a little for his tale. The miller, very drunk and rather pale, was straddled on his horse, half on, half off, and in no mood for manners or to doff his hood or hat, or wait for an enemy. But in a voice like a pilot's, he began to huff and swear. By black and bones and belly, I've got a noble story I can tell ye. I'll pay the knight his wages, not the monk. Our host perceived at once that he was drunk, and said, now hold on, Robin, dear old brother. We'll get some better man to tell another. You wait a bit. Let's have some common sense. God's soul, I won't, said he. At all events, I mean to talk, or else I'll go my way. Our host replied, well, blush you then you may, you fool. Your wits have gone beyond recall. Now listen, said the miller, one and all, to what I have to say. But first I'm bound to say I'm drunk. I know it by my sound. And if the words get muddled in my tale, just put it down to too much souther gale. I will relate a legend and a life of an old carpenter and of his wife, and how a student came and set his cap. The reeve looked up and shouted, shut your trap. Give over with your drunken harlotry. It is a sin and foolishness, said he, to slander any man or bring a scandal on wives in general. Why can't you handle some other tale? There's other things beside. To this the drunken miller then replied, my dear old brother Oswald, such is life. A man's no cuckold if he has no wife. This miller was a chap of 16 stone, a great stout fellow, big in brawn and bone, and he could knock a door down with his head. His beard, like in his sow or fox, was red and broad as well as though it were a spade, and at its very tip his nose displayed a wart on which there stood a tuft of hair, red as the bristles in an old sow's ear. His mighty mouth was like a furnace door. The filthy tavern stories he'd quite a store. What can I add? The miller had begun. He would not hold his peace for anyone, but told his churl's tale his own way, I fear. And I regret I must repeat it here. And so I beg of all who are refined, For gods love not to think me ill-inclined, or even in my purpose. I rehearse their tales as told, for better or for worse, for else I should be false to what occurred. So, if this tale had better not be heard, just to turn the page and choose another sort. You'll find them here in plenty, long and short, many historical that will profess morality, good breeding, saintliness. Do not blame me if you should choose amiss. The miller was a churl, I've told you this. So was the reeve, and other folk as well. And bawdy tales were all they had to tell. Consider then, and hold me free of blame. And why be serious about a game? Some time ago, there was a rich old codger who lived in Oxford and who took a lodger. The fellow was a carpenter by trade, his lodger a poor student who made some studies in the arts, but all his fancy turned to astrology and geomancy, and he could deal with certain propositions, make a forecast under some conditions about the likelihood of drought or showers for those who asked for favourable hours, or put a question how their luck would fall in this or that. I can't describe them all. This lad was known as Nicholas the Gallant, and making love in secret was his talent, for he was very close and sly, and took advantage of his meek and girlish look. He rented a small chamber in the keep all by himself without companionship. He decked it charmingly with herbs and fruit, and he himself was sweeter than the root of licorice or any fragrant herb.